In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to make a fantastic homemade bread that we make in our family all the time. We make this probably 3 times a week or more, depending. So this is how you do it. Begin with a 1.5 cups of water, and then you're going to add a 1/2 cup of milk. So you're going to have 2 cups of liquid. Now this recipe calls for a total of 3 tablespoons of sugar, but I'm going to add 1 tablespoon to the water and milk mixture. Okay, next we're going to add some butter. This recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of butter. As you can see, I don't really measure this very accurately. That's roughly 3 tablespoons. This is the way I do it. So then we're going to take that water, milk, and butter mixture, and we're going to put that in the microwave. We're going to do this for 60 seconds. You just want to get it warm. You don't want to get it scalding hot or anything like that. So you want to have just nice and warm. You're going to take it out, and it should be the butter should be just starting to melt. It should look roughly like that. Now you're going to add the yeast, and this is why you don't want it too hot, because you don't want it to, kill the yeast. So you're going to add 2 of these packets. I mean, this is what we use. We use this Fleischmann's active dry yeast. You can get this at any grocery store. So I use 2 packets of that. So you get it in there with your water and your milk and your butter that's been warmed, and you're going to want to mix this up a little bit. Now remember, it's also got the sugar in there, and the reason why I like to put some sugar in at this point, with the water and the milk and the butter mixture, is because it's going to help activate that yeast. The yeast love sugar, so that'll get them going. Now you're going to add your flour while your yeast is blooming in your measuring cup or whatever you do it in. You're going to get your flour. This is bread flour. You can use all-purpose flour, but bread flour is going to work best. You want about 5.5 cups of that. 5 3/4 cups of bread flour. Then you're going to add the remaining 2 tablespoons of sugar. Next is some salt, about 2 teaspoons of salt. As you can see, I'm not really big on accurate measurements, so that was about 2 teaspoons of salt. Give the yeast and water, butter, milk mixture another stir, and then into the dry ingredients it goes. Now you're going to want to, I mix this in a stand mixer, so you're going to want to mix this in a stand mixer if you have it. You don't need to do it in a stand mixer. You can do this by hand if you want. Just start doing it with a big wooden spoon or something until those ingredients begin to come together. But then you're going to want to knead it for a while. Slam it against your countertop. Push the back of your, the palm of your hand into it, the heel of your palm into it, over and over and over, for 5 minutes or so. So in the stand mixer, after about 5 minutes, it's going to all come together and look like this. And that's when you are done mixing. So set that aside for a second, and then I get a nice big bowl, and I'm going to coat that with a little bit of olive oil, because I'm going to put the dough in there and I don't want it to stick to the sides. So you're just going to want to ball up your dough ball a little bit to a nice ball size, ball shape. Get it into your bowl, get it oiled up, get it all over, and then just gonna leave it. So next step is to I put some plastic wrap over it. You don't have to put plastic wrap, but I do, and then I go ahead and cover this with a towel. Now I'm gonna let this sit for about an hour. Now you can see it's on top of my stove, but the stove is not turned on. You don't need any heat. After about an hour, it's going to about double in size. It's going to look like this. So here's the real important part. You want to use the right size pan. Now this pan is a special bread pan, and it's bigger than your average 8-inch bread pan. It's like 14 inches or something. I'm going to put a link to it. You can get it on Amazon. I highly recommend you get this. This thing is a game changer for me in terms of making bread. So check the link below and get you one of these. Then you just want to, you don't need to do this, but I like to rub the inside with a little butter, just like that. It's gonna help flavor it a little bit, and it's gonna help it not stick. And you're gonna want to do this. It makes it better. Next, you're gonna go back to your dough and punch it down. Okay, so just punch it down. You want to get those air bubbles out. Now you want to shape it a little bit to put it into the bread pan. You want to fold over that rough edge that you just pressed down. You want to fold that into itself, and you want to kind of get one side to kind of be nice and smooth, or as smooth as possible. Kind of get it into a tube shape to fit in that pan. Then you're going to put it in there, and now you want to push it down. I just kind of make a fist and squish it down. You want to get all those air bubbles out and just kind of get it a uniform thickness throughout that pan. So just do that until you get all those air bubbles out and it's nice and flat. It'll look like that. Then you're going to want to cover it with a towel again, and this is going to go for about another hour or so. It's going to rise to just above the rim of the pan in about an hour, and that's when it's ready to get into the oven. Now you're going to want to check on this. It might go a little faster depending upon the weather and whatever. Then off into the oven. Set your oven for 350. I know a lot of recipes call for bread to be baked at a higher temperature, but I've found that this works really well. And set your timer. You don't want to forget. So I'm putting this in at 30 minutes. But this might vary depending upon your oven. Some ovens run hotter than others, cook faster. This is one thing where you're going to want to do a little trial and error and see what works best for you. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, maybe 27 minutes, So you're just going to have to play with that a bit. So it should be a nice golden brown, and you can see how easy it slides out of this pan. And those holes on the bottom are to help get the heat into the center of the loaf there. It slides right out, and there, you're done. I hope you enjoy, and please subscribe to our channel.